What's up, guys? Back here with another one today. Today I wanted to go over, I guess you could call it do's and don'ts of prison or jail life, mainly for prison though. Really, this is more of how to stay out of trouble in prison, by hanging with the wrong people and just stuff you don't do and stuff you can do to avoid it. Me, I seen multiple, most of them are younger. I mean, you don't hardly ever see an older person go in there and get into a lot of stuff like that because they know better. But these 18-year-old kids that go in, and I mean, 20, just younger 20s, they'll go in there. I've seen some guys go in there with a little bit of time and end up, I know a guy right now, my first time going to prison, I went down there, and I was in prison with him. Me and him were really cool. He was just a cool ass dude, a black guy, and man, so he had a 20 split 3 for a robbery charge. He did the 3 years, I got out before him, of course. He came after me, too. So I get out before him, and when I, a few months ago, I'm looking on the news, he served his 3 years, and he had papers to back up the 17. Years goes by. This was in, my first time going down was IEOS, October 2011, and he was still in there, and I think he still had another year at that time, or maybe a year and a half. But so I see, I always search people every now and then who I know and see if they're still in there or if people went back, that I ain't heard from in a long time. So I look him up, it's probably a year and a half ago I look him up, or a year and a half ago, and he's back in prison. He violated the probation. He's got to back up the 17. He was he was young too. He was 18 when he got that 20 split 3, so he got out at 21. So okay, I look him up again just to keep tabs on him. This was just months ago. Actually, here's what happened. I was on the news, and I'd seen a story about an inmate getting stabbed in prison, and behold, this guy's face is on the news. He is the one that stabbed the dude. Now he's going to get some extra time. He hasn't yet, but I looked him up, and he's in the Kilby lockup there. They're not going to let him out or for a long, long time if they let him out. So he's pretty much done for. But he already had 17 years to do. That's a lot of time. But he could have made parole on that. Now, his parole's out the window. Ain't no telling how much time he's going to get. Somebody probably he was the type that you could send him on a crash test. He would, you could tell him to go slap that guy, and he was going to go slap him if he was trying to impress everybody, and it was kind of crazy to me. But, yeah, so I seen multiple people come into prison, though, like that. And, the rules of it really are, rule number 1, try to stay to yourself. Don't get in everybody's business. Don't go around trying to... This also goes as far as if you see some messed up stuff happening, try not to look away or act like you even know it's going on. Just stay in your lane. Just keep your head looking straight and don't look at it. Just let it be what it is. Alright, rule number 2 is don't get in debt. Don't borrow if you can't pay back. My rule personally, I didn't borrow nothing. I would have money sent to me all the time, but I didn't have to borrow nothing this last time. But even before that, I didn't borrow nothing even when I was waiting on my money to come in. It's just something I don't do. In a way, I'm glad that I went to prison for my first time. I think I'm 32 now. I was 23, I think it was, or 24. And I'm glad that I went because I was still young at that time, so I could have easily when, you know, I was wild and crazy when I was younger, but I think I've been going to the county so much. Hell, I was probably in the county, shoot, 50 times before my first time going to prison. Not that many, but I was in there a lot though. And it was just crazy though. You would I mean, I'm just glad that I went down there and you know, with my head on my shoulders, because me going to jail so much, I matured faster, I think. So in a way, I mean, I'm thankful for that part, honestly. And yeah, but all right, you don't gamble, you don't get in debt, don't owe nothing, don't borrow nothing, don't do the dope. Say no to the dope in prison. That's where it'll get you at. Now, I've seen a lot of guys go down there. This goes back to, I've seen a lot of young guys go down there with a little bit of time, but they can't stop the dope for that little bit of time, that they turn gay, they get turned out. I've seen people get stabbed just because they weren't gonna turn gay, I guess, and they didn't have the money to pay their debt. Man, I've seen some crazy stuff go on, and it's mind blowing to me that people will. I mean, I get it though, like it's the principle of you owing and stuff, but it's just crazy that somebody will risk their whole life over a little bit of money. And I really mean the guy who's stabbing you up, because most of the time, sometimes it can get up to a lot of money. Now, people in there will owe a lot of money. I mean, it gets crazy, you know, a lot. And then, you know, in prison, it ain't like the county jail to where you could somewhat try to avoid them. You could tell a guard, like, hey, move, but you can't go up to a guard in prison and be like, hey, can you move? There's not, you know, they can't just move you just like that. They can't just be like, yeah, come on, let's load you up in the truck. We're going to take you to another camp. And then prison's so big, though, that if you did try to move camps and the person you owed, let's just say he had been there a long time, knew a lot of people, chances are you can't avoid it nowhere you go. He's going to have friends in that other camp. There's cell phones all in the prisons. They're going to call. They're going to get it done one way. You know, they'll find out. And then you could find out anything online just by, and find out where anybody is. Like, I mean, it's crazy. You can. So, really, there ain't even no point in that. Your best bet is to just man up. Well, your best bet's not to do it, but your best bet is to just, I don't know what you're doing. I never got in that situation, to be honest, to where I owed people, because I was just smarter than to do that. I mean, you know, sitting in the county, all these old heads would tell me all the time what to do and what not to do, and I listened to it, and they were right. Which brings me to my next point. My first time down there wasn't like this. I did click up with some younger people then. My second time, I had some younger friends who really I would try to tell them, like, how to do better, how to change what they're doing. And, I would try to talk them out of their wild ways, but most of them don't listen. They don't think you know what you're talking about, apparently. But I clicked up with some old people in there, for real. Not like really old, but I just mean like some older people. And I mean, they're all laid back and everything. You can't trust all of them though either. Don't get it twisted there. You can't trust all of them. They might, anything can happen. They can be wild. You got a lot of, in prisons and stuff, man, it's a lot. To me, shoot, 90% are just really immature for their age. And that's just the truth. Like, so bad that it's crazy. I mean, when I just looked around and seen how people act and stuff, I'm just like, I used to say I don't belong there, but I guess I did because I'm a 4-time felon. But I just like to have fun. I ain't never hurt nobody in my little crimes. I sold some pot and stole a little bit from Walmart, but other than, I like to get high in my younger days, and that's kind of what took me down the path of in and out of jail, in and out of prison. I've been to prison 2 times, and it just ain't no good. And I've just seen a lot of people go in there and just come out never the same. Like, just because they get in these situations that you can't really escape from. I mean, you got to do something about it. And then people down there don't like to lose fights, so now you got to worry about getting stabbed up if you if you beat the guy up. I mean, it's kind of a lose-lose situation if you get down there and get into that and hanging out with them, man, because and that's the other thing, man. People, they're not. I have met some really cool people, some people I still talk to and see from time to time in prison. You will find them, but most of the people aren't your friends in there. They're gonna play like they are. They're gonna be all up, with you, acting like they're your best friend, but they don't care. Most of the time, especially if you have money coming in on your books, yeah, you might have a lot of friends, but they pretty much expect something from you. And like most of the time too, younger people, man, they'll come in there and like say their family's got a lot of money, sending them money, man. They're so naive that they will give it all away, and they're not getting punked for it. They're not getting extorted. The guys aren't like, give it to me or I'm gonna beat you up. They're giving it to them, being friendly, thinking this guy's their friend, but they are not your friends. People down there, it's a whole different world. It's a world inside the world we live in right now, where you don't know what's going on outside. I mean you do from the news, but I'm just saying you don't see it physically. Like, it's just messed up. But yeah, I mean, anybody gets into these just stop it right away. Like when I know when I went down there, I freaking man, I hung out with the one guy at Kilby, this younger dude, and like I said, he tried to tell me I owed him. I told this story in another video. He tried to say I owed him when I knew I didn't owe him, and he asked me if I was gonna get beat up over this money, and I said yeah. I mean, like I'm not the type to just talk. I'm really laid back. I'm not gonna talk shit, so I'm not gonna be like, shit, nah, let's fight right now. You ain't gonna beat me up, I'll beat you up. I just told him, shoot, it's whatever. One of us is gonna get beat up because I'm not paying you. And he left me alone once he seen I stood for myself. Like he really did. Like I never. We were at the same camp, and it went on like this. Now it was a few times that he came to me for this money after that conversation, and I would tell him like, I don't owe you or nothing. I was like, look, I done told you I'm not paying you. He never said like, all right, well, let's get it right now, let's fight, throw up his fist. He never called me names. He didn't say anything. He would walk away and be like, oh, okay, like with an attitude, but he never say nothing to me crazy, because I would have got mad. But also I think that's because, not that he was scared of me, but that he didn't want to take it that route anyway. He just wanted free money. I mean, he was hoping that I was going to give it to him. But, I also, when I went down there, and it was 2014 when I made it to prison towards the end of it, this last time, when I got there, and I got a 27 number, so most people know, if you go in there with a new number, that's when they prey on you the most. And right now, I think they're in the 31s or 32s. I got sentenced my first time in 2011, and that was the 27 numbers. And so, yeah, most of the time they're not gonna mess with you if you show them what you're talking about. But if you carry yourself a certain way, like in some of my other interviews, I said stuff about me getting tried. Those 2 times, alright, I've gotten into fights and stuff in jails and prisons. I've done that. But the only times I really just got tried was, those few times. Like, and I'm talking about out of a year, I've spent over, since I was 18, I've probably spent over 6 or 7 years in jails and prisons altogether. I mean, it could be more than that. But, I mean, So, you know, like, that's a long time for nobody to just try you. And why I say that, it ain't because I look scary. I'm not at all. Like, I carry myself a certain way. I mean, that's just it. Like, people aren't going to come up to me and try me like that. I look like I just don't want to, you know, I don't care what you do, just leave me out of it. And that's how you got to do it. Or else stuff can get ugly for you real fast. I mean, so yeah, that's pretty much it. The gist of how to stay. I mean, even then though, trouble will find you sometimes. I can also say, I guess part of that was luck with me, because I mean, some people just like to start stuff and they don't care. Like, so they'll come up to you and never talk to you or anything in their life. So I mean, trouble could, these aren't just surefire ways to stay out of it, but this will help. If you go down there running around acting crazy, I've seen guys, man, you know, they'll be in the county for months to a year, 2 years. So they're not doing drugs in there because it's harder to get drugs in the county. Sure, they come in every now and then, but you're not just going to be able to get high every day. In prison, you can get high every day if you want. Sometimes the drug prices skyrocket. That means there's a drought on the drugs in the camp. But you know, when those prices drop back down a lot, you know that they read up. They got some more stuff in. But I mean, man, I seen guys get off the van at Kilby just about as soon as they get out of quarantine. Hell, even in quarantine, you could talk to one of the little runners if you know them or something, and try to get them to bring you something. I mean, I seen guys though, man, just take off and just, you know, running to everybody. Let me get this. Let me get that. Oh man, I want to get high. I want to get high. And they're not going to turn you down with money or no money offhand. I mean, because they know that one way or another, you're going to become their, you know, their boy, or so one way or another, they're gonna get some kind of pleasure out of it anyway, beating you up or whatever they got, stabbing you up, whatever. I mean, it's a sick game. People down there got a whole other mindset. Like, I ain't never understood it. I don't see it. Like, I ain't never let it slip, get into my head like that for real. I mean, I just did my time and tried to go. And if I'd not, sometimes, you know, like when I was younger going to jail and prisons, my young side would try to slip out a little bit because I'd be hanging around some cool people who I would probably hang around with on the street. And then, you know, but I would have to check myself really fast because, I mean, I'm not going down that road, because I got other stories though now, and they all come back from Walker County, which I will touch into that. Like, speaking of that, most of the people who try me was in that jail because they don't care. Like, they really don't. I've been to jails where I haven't known anybody before. They ain't try me. It's just that jail's a special jail, and I guess you could call it a special ed jail. Honestly, because it's crazy to me. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to leave this video here. I was just going to touch base real quick. I ain't made a video in a few days, man, so I'm going I've been trying to make one every day, honestly, but, you know, other stuff's been coming up. But today is December 31st. Tomorrow starts a new year, and, man, I'm excited to see what the year brings. So, Happy New Year to everybody who watches this. And remember, hit that like and subscribe button, please. And yeah, I'm trying to get up there on the subscribers. And I mean, just, yeah, and I mean, leave comments, whatever y'all want to see about it. I've lived through a lot in my 32 years of life. I mean, just honestly, I've done a lot of things most people haven't done. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna leave off on this, but yeah, I look forward to hearing from y'all, and until the next time, y'all take it easy. Yes, sir.